There's a moment in war when the sounds stop being shocking. You stop flinching at the roar of jets. You stop crying when windows rattle. You stop looking up when the sky lights red. I remember that moment clearly. It was the day I knew I had changed. Something in me had died, and something else, colder, had taken its place. I was born in Yemen. I was raised in a home filled with love, tight hugs, sweet tea, and the soft voice of my mother waking us for school. But all that was before the walls cracked, before bodies lay in the streets, before silence meant something was coming. When the war started, it didn't come all at once. It crept in like a shadow stretching across the floor. First, the news, then the fear, then the destruction. Our neighbor's home was flattened in an instant, children inside. I can still hear the screaming. I didn't sleep for days. My younger brother developed a nervous tick in his eye. My father stopped smiling. The worst part? The world moved on. They saw our suffering through filtered headlines, numbers, not names, dead, not dying. Food disappeared, medicine vanished, power outages lasted days. We lived like rats, underground, quiet, alert, waiting for the next explosion. I was 17 when I saw my first corpse in the street. He was barefoot, eyes wide open. No one dared move him. Our lives became a countdown, not of days, but of what we had left. 1 bag of flour, half a tank of water, 3 candles. Then the bomb came. Not near us, not in our building, but close enough that the glass shattered and the ceiling cracked. My mother bled from her hands. My brother screamed and didn't stop for hours. That night, we slept outside, on the cold stone, afraid the walls would crush us. That was the night we decided to leave. We had no car. We had no money. But we had our legs, and we had fear. The kind of fear that pushes you to walk across cities, past checkpoints guarded by boys with guns, past bodies, past everything you once called familiar. We traveled by foot, by truck, by hiding under tarps and pretending not to exist. We reached the coast weeks later. I had lost weight. My skin looked yellow. My mother's cough had worsened. But we waited. A smuggler took what was left of our money. I didn't care. I would have given him everything, just to leave. The boat was hell, crammed with strangers, children crying, women praying, men vomiting over the edge, water seeped in from the sides. One girl died during the crossing. We didn't even know her name. We reached a place that wasn't home, a place where no one spoke our language and people looked at us like ghosts. We were alive, yes, but the price of survival was heavy. I thought leaving Yemen would feel like freedom, but it didn't. When the boat finally reached land, I was too numb to cry. My mother kissed the ground, whispering something I couldn't hear. My brother looked like a shadow of the boy he once was. We had escaped the war, but the war hadn't left us. We were placed in a crowded shelter, metal beds, thin mattresses, a shared bathroom for dozens of families. The food was strange. The language is even stranger. I remember sitting on the floor the first night, holding my knees, thinking, this isn't home. This is just somewhere we didn't die. Days bled into each other. I waited in lines for food, for interviews, for documents, for answers. People asked me about my story. I wanted to scream, it's not a story. It's a wound that won't close. But I smiled. I told them what they wanted to hear, because I needed their help. There were moments I thought we'd be okay. The kindness of a stranger who offered us blankets, a nurse who spoke a few words of Arabic, my brother's laugh returning, even if just for a second. But they were flickers. Most of the time, I felt like I was walking underwater. Every step was slow, heavy, distant. People back home still texted, those who hadn't fled or vanished. Don't forget us, they'd say, as if I ever could. One day, I found a library in the city. It became my escape. I sat in a quiet corner and began to write everything. The war, the night we left, the sea, the shelter, the dreams, the nightmares, the guilt of being alive when others weren't. A volunteer read one of my pages and cried. That was the first time someone outside my world really saw me. Eventually, we moved into a tiny apartment. Just one room, but it had a door we could lock, a kettle, and a window. I got a cleaning job. My mother started sewing again. My brother went to school. The war was still in us, but so was something else. Maybe survival, maybe stubbornness, maybe hope. I still cry. I still wake up at night waiting for the sound of bombs, but I also dream now, not of the past, but of what could be. I want to study again. I want to speak in rooms where people listen. I want the world to know that Yemen is not just dust and war, it's poetry, resilience. I left Yemen in darkness, but I carry a spark with me now, and I won't let it die. It took me a long time to stop calling myself broken. There were days I couldn't get out of bed. The weight of everything, the war, the loss, the guilt, pressed down like a stone on my chest. I'd open my eyes and forget where I was. Part of me always expected to be back in Yemen, in our old apartment with cracked walls and jasmine in the air. But slowly, life kept happening around me, and I began to meet it halfway. I enrolled in a language course. I was terrified, sitting in a class where I barely understood anyone. But I wanted to speak. I needed to. Not just to survive, but to tell. I wanted to tell the world what war does to a girl, what it means to carry grief that doesn't leave bruises but bleeds every time you smile. I still think about Yemen every day. I dream of returning one day, not to the ruins, but to rebuild, to teach girls like me that even in darkness you can shape light. I'm not healed, not yet. Some wounds stay, but I am not broken. I am the daughter of war, and I survived.